Well, John, on the back of the weekend, I can imagine there's plenty of positives for you to take into the Preston game at Fratton Park on Saturday.
Yeah, really positive after the result and the performance in large parts, and it's a good building block for us to have that sort of positivity away from home. We didn't necessarily have that at large parts last season, and it's been a very good training week. So good training week for us, good build up. We've not had the game because of the lack of the League Cup, so I suppose a bit of silver lining there in terms of being knocked out in the first round, and yeah, it's been a really good week.
You mentioned training there. Just to expand on that, what have you been able to get into the lads this week with, obviously you've had a good period on the grass?
Yeah, not a huge amount early in the week. We had the recovery day on Monday, and then we've put a couple of really good training days into the boys, so plenty of work in terms of what we're going to do against Preston, and plenty of physical work as well, and I think it sets us up nicely to have that free week going into the game.
Yeah, Preston at the weekend, they've had a good start to the season, a solid result against Ipswich last weekend. What are you expecting from them?
Yeah, like you said, really good start to the season for Preston. Some excellent results. They've beaten two of the promotion favourites in Leicester and Ipswich, and a really good point away at QPR, which I think is always a tough place to go. So I think they've really kicked on this summer. I think they've looked excellent in the periods that we've seen them. So yeah, we expect a really good threat, a really tough game. I think it's going to be a really tough game for both sides. Actually, I'm sure they're expecting similar things when they come to Fratton Park, and I think it'll be a really good occasion.
In terms of team news, obviously Callum Lang was out anyway, but you got a second opinion on him. He's undergone surgery. What's the latest there?
Yeah, just with Callum, we had two options. We could have left him as was and tried to go down the normal path of rehab, which would have been 4 to 8 weeks. There was no guarantee at the back end of that the hamstring would have been as strong as it would have been if we'd gone down the other route, which was surgery. So we decided to take that route. Callum decided to take that route, which I think was the right thing to do. It's going to mean he's out for slightly longer, so we're looking at much more like 8 to 12 weeks on this one. But at the back end of it, we should have a player that's with the risks of re-injury to that specific part of the hamstring are much lower.
How's Colby doing after he came off at the weekend, and any other injury news as well?
Yeah, Colby's fine. Colby trained yesterday, trained today, so no issues with Colby. No other injury news. We'll have the same squad available, plus Josh Knight to travel to West Brom with us the weekend.
And back at Fratton Park this weekend in front of our home supporters, and a good opportunity to get a strong result going into the international break for you and the lads.
Yeah, we need to improve, I think, upon what we did last time at home, which was a good end to the game, but we didn't start quite quick enough. So I think it's a really good opportunity for us to get back home and actually kick that home form into gear. It's been okay away from home at the moment, but we've played 2 at home and we've lost both of them. So a really good opportunity for us to make sure we win the game.
In terms of transfers, deadline day fast approaching, what is the approach from you and the club going into that sort of final few days ahead of the window ending?
We're pretty calm and patient about where we are at the moment. We're pleased with the business that we've done so far, so we're in no panic to desperately add, but we think there's still a bit of room for a couple more maybe. So there's plenty of work that's going on, and nothing that will be in before the weekend, but we're pretty sure that we're going to have a couple of deals done by the deadline day.